can play it different. I can guarantee you that you don't play like people play during Handel. Hell, you don't even play like people. Well, you do play like people played in 1950s a little bit.
Yeah.
But definitely not like they would do it now, because now it's all that, which I hate.
It's true.
But it's a new generation site. During the festival, I mean, you managed to spend a couple of evenings there. You saw what was happening. The biggest shock to me was that this giant, a young generation of
I'm not
kids
gonna ask
were
you
getting
again.
together.
Come on, knock it
They
off.
were hanging until 3 in the morning or whatever, but they were not getting drunk, they were not acting stupid, there were no drugs involved of any kind. They were playing interesting board games, and they were listening to good music.
Exactly.
And when they were not listening to the classical music, they were playing music that even I enjoyed listening to. I actually wrote down a few names of the songs and the singers because I loved it.
Yeah.
I have a Spotify account which I almost never use, but I ask them to, they can
Put stuff in
share it or
there.
whatever, right? And it's interesting for me to hear what you do. And I'm pretty sure that my teacher would want to fix a couple of things. I don't. Except for unnecessary and inappropriate slides here and there. Once in a while is okay, but when you do one after another, it just doesn't sound right. Right? It stops being beautiful, that's what I mean. But the genius music stays genius when it's played by a different generation. It's your time.
That's true.
It's your time to keep it alive. And people who create laws and rules of how we're supposed to play this music are just as dumb and restricted like the rulers of the early music. Your mom may disagree with me, but during the Renaissance time, there was so many incredible talent that was restricted by the rules of how they're supposed to write the music. And then it was not just music, it was everything in life, right? And then the Baroque period came, and that's where all these palazzas exploded with all this beautiful architecture and paintings and everything.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Right? So that's when the new rules of the music came out. That's when Vivaldi and Corelli came out, and that's what we're supposed to celebrate. And we're supposed to make sure that her generation and generation of her children will not forget what Handel's Fourth Sonata was, because it's genius. So deliver it, let people enjoy it. You sound great when you don't get lost. So find yourself in time, and everything else I can fix.
Cool.
Okay? All right.
Thank you. See you next week.
You're welcome. Look at her dress. Would you just look at that dress? What's that? Looks like a picture. Can I open it?
Yes. Ella, tell them about it. Tell them why there's two, and it's from us and someone else too.
Someone who works with me on violin, Russia Kitchen, her husband.
Her practice person.
Yeah, her husband Judy's. And there were two of them, and we didn't know which one to give you, so we got them both for you.
Sherlock.
Yeah.
Which one did you open?
Sherlock.
Sherlock.
Right.
Both of them are Sherlock.
Two smartest people in the world, Einstein and Sherlock Holmes, played violin.
Anyway, her husband is a good artist, and he happened to have drawn this. And he drew it two ways. The picture is the same, but one of them has
That's
the
for
word.
students to look at.
And I'm not sure where the words came from, but maybe. I don't know. I can ask her.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, child, let's go. What a dress! My goodness gracious.
It's a good dress.
It is a good dress. What? What? What?
Good eyes, Ella. We've gone the whole lesson without that.
Okay, we'll get out your one. Which one? So,
I don't
you are gone now, right? When are you
We're
going?
coming, yeah, we're gone. We're coming back on the 11th.
11th. My
Well,
goodness,
that's-
a long break.
It is.
Well, is she taking her violin?
No.
Oh, that's a long time not to practice, especially if she plays at the recital.
When is the recital?
I'm hoping the last week of January. Where are you traveling to? Texas?
Yes.
No.
The last week of January?
I hope
The,
so. It's not confirmed with Miles, but normally we were doing it 17, 18, but there are some conflicts on that.
so Saturday or Sunday, you think?
Don't know yet. Need to confirm with him, but I'm aiming to have it before February 2nd because that's when all the auditions start. It's Crowden concerts start and Junior Bach starts, and kids need the chance to break down.
Well, we're not really going till, I mean, she's got some time to practice this week, a little bit before Christmas, and she has a little bit when we come back, so it's not going to be a complete wash.
Why can't she carry her violin, put some underwear around it? That's how I travel. I put all my necessities in around violin and travel with it as a carry-on. And it's a tiny instrument, she could carry it on her back. Not a problem.
Well, would you be okay to practice while we're gone, Ella?
Yeah.
And then, would be nice, don't do this every day, but let's say every other day, you take videos. Practice on a certain spot, take a video and send it to me.
I usually record my whole practices.
Good, but specifically for me at the end of the practice, perform a spot. You know, we already divided the concerto into the breaks, so take one break and show it to me.
So, are you thinking she's going to play this at the next recital?
I definitely don't want her to play it any longer. I think it's done.
So
You see,
for another 6 weeks she plays it though.
well, I want her to practice it, but I want her to start a new stuff. The definite step up is the Spohr 2. That would definitely make her a much stronger player, but she needs to complete this one before. Most of my strongest students did that step and it works like magic. But it doesn't mean that she should only play that piece. She could work on a few and then decide what she wants to play. Although I've never seen the kid who did not like to perform Spohr once they learn it. It's a hot piece. And it's interesting to me, but most of the people play only exposition. It's not allegro, but more like A-B form,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the strongest ones played both. And there are some crazy double stops at the end that goes up to the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's ready. Maya was ready and she came and she knocked everybody dead at Crowden. And that was one time when she outplayed Mignon. They were in the same grade.
Mm-hmm.
And Mignon, I think, was actually playing something very, very scary, like Ronda Capricciosa or something. And she did great.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Maya playing a Spohr concerto, but that was like fire just pouring out of stage and everything was there. She got a standing ovation and it was pretty clear who won. Even though I never tried to compete, but the girls didn't like each other ever and always were like, oh. And there is another piece that I really want her to learn. It's Dance Macabre. That will learn or teach her a lot. And that would be really cool. But she needs to complete this first. Okay? So if you do take the violin, make
Well, we
sure
can
that
take it.
make
There's no
sure
problem.
that you practice regardless of what you do, whether the weather is beautiful or a hurricane, whether there is a lot of cousins to play with or nobody at all. Infect everybody with your focus and commitment. Get up in the morning and before you do anything, go and play your scales and exercises. 15 minutes or 20 will do, but that will set your whole day in a positive way. And in the evening, before going to sleep, even if you select yourself 20 or 30 minutes, work on one break of the concerto. Practice it slow, work on the difficult spots, then take one video and shoot me the video, and I will be happy as a clam. And I will respond, and I will tell you either, wow, good job, or, watch that rhythm there, or what the heck is wrong with that shift, it's out of tune, and etc., etc. And that will give you some information to go on to. Okay? All right. Let's go. Tune up. You already tuned or didn't yet? What instrument is that?
It's like that pipe thing where you...
No, the pipe thing is different.
No, you like the thingy where I forget what it's called.
This is the pipe thingy. That's not the pipe thingy, that's a plucky thingy. Yeah, it's harpsichord. Right? I was playing Handel with soul. Anyway, let's go.
I'm gonna start with the creature.
Please.
Okay.
Did you succeed?
Did I what?
Did you succeed learning it?
I still have spots I need to work on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Time to be done with this one. I'm not surprised. Your hand is incredibly relaxed, but your fancy lifting of the, that's one of the reasons I have a rug here, don't worry about it. See this? Although I'm happy to see a beautiful relaxed hand, there is no power in it. Right, see that? I want... Because of the taste.
We've had a big discussion, me and Ella, about the face.
Oh, I
And
love the face.
No, the face has been on all week, and I'll be totally honest with you. I don't like to take up time from your lesson, but there's two things. One is, she was really sick, but she was starting to look a little burned out in her practices and her form and her presentation, and so part of why I wasn't saying she should bring the violin is I was thinking it would be good to have a little more relaxed time. But on the way over here, when I was thinking about coming in and we had talked about the face a bunch of times, suddenly the mother bell went off, and I realized that I have seen the cranky face a little too much, and I am sure that, and she agreed that she has been sleeping with the computer open up until midnight, and a lot of it is fatigue. But I also think I also think, just to give you a little feedback, I was telling her this morning, I think she at least needs to try to put that face into some music and play that, thing, or, and maybe have some more organization to her practice so that she does some chunks instead of. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you.
I hear you completely, and I agree. I also think that you can only push them that far, and then you hope that they fly on their own. Pushing them all the way makes them disabled. However, there is this superstar in neuroscience, Mel Levine, and he's an expert in teen brain. And many years ago, he came here to Bay Area. He works out of Chapel Hill University, and he did research of hundreds of thousands of young people. many major breakthrough in the brain study. He came and he was reading a series of seminars here in the Bay Area, and Crowden School, surprisingly to me, paid for me to attend them.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a degree in psychology. Obviously that's not neuroscience, but I was very interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, just because I wrote him a letter with some questions, and to my huge surprise, he responded with all the questions. He said that this is exactly the area that he is studying right now.
Right.
So sometimes I was writing and asking questions, and we were in connection. But there are many things. First, that I got the confirmation from him, that most of the musicians know and knew for ages that if you want successfully to practice, you don't practice for a long time. You practice for a short time, but very intensely thinking, and then you take a break and you do something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Completely changing the environment. Go for a run, or go scream at your mother, or whatever, right? Emotional dramatic change works exactly the same as sleep.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, takes the short-term memory and pushes it into the long-term memory. And I think you're an expert in that field as well, right? You should know that. And he confirmed that. And I started to experiment with some of my students who were exceptionally gifted but not very successful academically.
Mm-hmm.
So we were setting the timer on 20 minutes of, say, algebra, then 10 minutes of violin, then 20 minutes of history, then 10 minutes of scales, religiously stopping and dropping whatever you were doing and switching.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them graduated high school with straight A's.
Mm-hmm.
Every one. And it's like a miracle. But one thing that I have learned from him, and this is for you, child, you listen to me very, very good right now. There is a special drug in your body that is produced by your body to make you rest. And depending on your age and body development, it's released in your body at different time of the day. In my case, it's irrelevant. I can go for a week without sleep and I will not die because A, I'm too old to react to this drug, and B, I'm trained to do this. In your case, every time when this drug is released in your body and you're not sleeping, you're fighting against yourself and you're making yourself weak everywhere, in your body, in your mind, everywhere. In your case, I cannot guarantee it, but I think it's released around 9 or 10. If you are not in bed by 10 with your computer shut, you're not going to be 100% next day. And when you're my age, you will have illnesses because you're right now building your body. Understand? How old are you now? 10. When you will turn 15 or 16, it will switch to midnight. And this is why in my class, say in San Domingo, I do not have a single student who is not straight A student.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a rigorous, hard school. I finally received the contract for Anthony, who received early acceptance with a very generous scholarship, on the top of which San Domingo VP paid $15,000. So I was like, thanks. Because what would cost me now for 4 years of his schooling there, and for a normal parent would cost 1 month. It's crazy, you know. It's ridiculous. But on the other hand, I look how they live. They eat regular and well.
Mm-hmm.
Epicurean feeds them, and they at 10 for everyone except for the seniors are lights out.
Mm-hmm.
There's simply lights out. You have a little light in your room, the security comes in and you get the citation. For seniors, it's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're already accepted to Harvard. I mean, seriously, leave me alone. I'm an adult now. But for anybody else, and they're twice older than you are, they go to bed at 10. They wake up at 6, they exercise, they eat breakfast, go practice their violins, and then kick butt academically. Last 2 weeks, there was SAT for all these fancy schools. And I have 2 11th graders there. Guess what? They scored 99 percentile. They are within 1% of smartest people in this country. My daughter is a 10th grader. She scored 94. In 10th grade, she already have enough score to apply for UC Berkeley. Guess what she's doing right now? She's not feeling well. She has a minor fever. So she sleeps through the day. She's not watching the bloody computer, even though she has one. She has two iPads, laptop, and a phone. She's asleep. And my son is just listening to every squeak that she makes, brings her food, water, and whatever she needs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they kick ass. I understand the excitement of the computer. But if your mother tells you that you need to stop, and the fact that you even have the computer in your room means that your mother allows you too much. My kids were not allowed in your age any electronics inside their rooms at all. Not at all. They had to use it in the living room, and 2 hours before the bedtime, it stops because this UV radiation damages the brain and you can't sleep well. There's actually special glasses and screen protectors now that cut down that radiation because it really disturbs your mind. You can't sleep well. Understand? All right. What was I trying to tell you?
So not killing the computer.
No. I was trying to tell you that when you feel that your mother is being tough and annoying, she simply loves you and does her job as a mother. Understand? All right. And yes, I would very much like for you to take the violin, but not because of obligation, but because you like what you do on the violin. And I want you to succeed, and I want you to... People who will come to this concert would expect this little Ella to come and do something that they would enjoy. Don't steal that joy from them. Okay? All right. Let's go. Your etude is good, but your flimsiness here, although I love watching this ballet-like movement. Pinky up. Plant it down and put forte there. See forte?
Yeah.
Show me. Okay, that's what I need. And now, remember I told you that I want you to learn this etude fast because I'm going to do things with it, right? So here are 2 exercises that I want you to learn while you are in Texas. Both of them are Yasha Heifetz exercises that he did himself all his life on this very study. Those are very cool classes. Let me show you. First one. Simple, right? I play 8 notes forte and then 8 notes piano. I'll give you 5 chances to succeed. Stop. You're making a diminuendo to the piano, and I don't. And now you ran in, and your piano is kind of mezzo forte. Let me show you one more time. This is much harder than you think. Do you understand? I'm making crescendo into the piano and then I disappear.
Also, you're both small on the piano.
What's? Duh, of course. Go. Now you're making diminuendo, you silly child. Right, that is correct. But the more change, the more dramatic change you could create, the better it is. It's incredible exercise. Only the best of my students could do it though. The other one is even harder. Nah. Do you understand? In my technique class, it's a mandatory thing and Crowden, and I test them with my eyes closed. They get 3 shots. When I stop them and guess which part of the bow they are. If they fooled me, they pass the test. Try. Okay, good. Not too bad, actually. For somebody who just started this, not too bad. And yes, there is no specific speed of how fast you need to swing. You can stay in one part a little while, then slide into another part of the bow, but the etude is supposed to flow uninterrupted. Okay? All right, child, let's have your concerto. That kind of fits, right?
Which one did you like better?
I like them both.
Okay.
arm, not just fingers. Move the arm. Bigger ball, bigger ball. Good. Go on, finish. Yeah. Go. piece that is 5 times longer than the one that you played, and it is at least 3 times harder. And you played well. You played musical, you played beautiful, you learned tons of new techniques and whatever. You need to pay attention to this, right? It's not exactly my words, but it's very, very close to what I would say. And what I need from you is, as I said, you have natural, incredible gift. The gift is musical integrity. You play music with respect to everything, to the correct sound, to correct intonation, correct rhythm, and most importantly, you breathe with the music, which is, I don't know, 1 in 1,000. It's very, very rare. I know how to teach that, but I don't have to in your case, because it just comes naturally to you. What unfortunately comes with perfectionism, which you also has, is that the slightest mistake, slightest even hint of mistake, you feel desire and necessity to stop and fix it. And this is why I asked you, please, if you take the violin, make a nightly rule. You take 1 brick of this concerto, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever it takes, right? And you videotape it without corrections. And if you are not happy with what you did, then you can drive all your relatives crazy recording for an hour. But I want 1 take without corrections. Yeah, just like my son. He's also just exactly the same kid. He does his own laundry.
Should we arrange a marriage?
Absolutely, we would be perfect. Yeah, he's doing his own laundry, and if somebody touches his laundry when it's in a dryer, like, so you come and you take his dry laundry and put it in a basket, he will put it back into the wash and clean it after you touched it.
You should tell my son. He thinks he's obsessive, and he is, but you know.
Well, it's better than the other side, I'd say, and I know from experience it goes away with age and it evens out. But the stops was my concern. Your bowing works well, your shifts work well. You learned how to shift Russian style. Once you missed it a little bit flat, and then the other time you nailed it, and it was beautiful. And it's a good technique, and it's beautiful style. You don't overdo it, but you do just enough of that expressive slide right there, and vibrato after that. Your vibrato is changing and it's beautiful. Your phrasing is good. That marcata at the frog, you need to add more bow when you go louder and simply play just giant détaché right there, and it would be good. But it's time to play off the string. You know, you practice slow using your fingers and the hand, but then you engage your arm and you fly, and you would be done. That's basically it. Do you understand? Guess which part of the piece is the weakest. You'd never guess. No. It's a little cautious to me. I think that you may want to go a little wilder there, but yes, I indeed appreciate your desire to play every tritone in tune. It's very rare. It's great. But you know, clean it up and then go crazy. So which part then? She doesn't know.
Yes, I do.
Oops.
No, I don't. Not necessarily.
So, the very beginning there. And I'm not surprised in it at all, because by the time you learned the end, you became much stronger violins. So let's go back to the beginning. And this time I will stop you and I will give you some notes, and then you could watch the video on your laptop and use it. But in general, you need to just play the bricks. If you hear some imperfection, you already yourself know a lot of stuff. That's just good. That's so cool. Mink. See? Nah, I think you can play much stronger. That's right. Yeah, and you stopped raising the shoulder. Must be that dress. It's very good. Let's go. Yeah. Stop. Why did you have to repeat that note? What happened? Did you even notice that you played that note 3 times for me? That's the problem. Because on the flow of the performance, you won't be able to do that. You would have to go on, and your adrenaline is going to go in the wrong direction. Instead of being inspired, you will be terrified. So, start for me from there. Just as much, few times. Go. That pastor says, what, 3 or 4 times. I usually insist on 5, but fine, 3 or 4. Let's go. Yeah, okay, I just want this. And I don't need more. And again, really strong. Very good. One more time. And now continue concerto on and don't stop. Go. Move. Beautiful. Now, where is it? What do you think those things above the note are?
Accents.
Yeah, what is the accent? Do you know what accent is?
It's like you put a little more pressure, like weight in it.
I would say that you are talking about Swarzand. What is accent? In your language. It's like you do what?
I don't know.
You don't know. You move the bow. Faster speed of the bow creates a feel of accent. I need more bow on those notes that have accent there. The double stops were beautifully clean. But I need this, whatever the notes are. Can you play them for me with much bigger speed of the bow? More bow, don't stop the bow, move it. And vibrate them on. Right, go on. Yeah, that was quite beautiful. I don't even need to hear that now. That was very nice too. Now this one. How did you practice it? Tell me, did you practice it in triplets?
I didn't practice it that much.
Why?
I don't
Let me show you something. I need you.
I've been telling her to be more honest with you. So that was good.
Okay. Then turn around.
know.
It's time for Schlagen. See this? That's the stroke that I need you to find. See right there. extend your arm. I swear to you, this is how hard I hold the bow. Really, really light. But look right there. See? Everything is flimsy and flexible, but the whole arm works. And this is... Don't be afraid. Start open strings. Ta 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 ta. No, you're holding the bow too tight. That's better. Now turn. Yeah, see? The bow has to go straight. Go on the G string and go to the frog and relax your bow hold and just bombard that stick. Straight bow, please. Right, now how about this? Watch this. 2 strings in the middle. That's the very frog. Without losing them. And if you miss something, or if it squeaks something, or it does something, I don't care. You have to 2 middle strings right here, and don't play in circles. That's better, but this way, not that way. Do not drop the wrist. That's it. That's it. That's the stroke that I want. And now I want you relax and hang above the string. Smack it like this. Do you understand? Not so. Eventually you will go. Do you understand? This violin is too small for me and too small for the energy that I show. It doesn't mean, however, that you shouldn't try it. Nah, not yet. Yes. Exactly. And now bigger on the string. No, see. When you start growing here, you go. Do you understand? Show me that part again. Where is it? Oh yeah. Yeah. And before this part, when you start going. I'm sliding all over the place like cow on ice. It's a small violin for me. But right here somewhere you should land it. Do you understand? So there. And then you play very beautifully. However, the interesting thing is that this same melody, which is the second subject of the piece, happens twice. Do you understand what I just said? Okay. No. Look at this part. This one. No, this one. Right? Yeah? Okay? Okay?
Yeah.
Now, look at this part. What do you see, child? It's exactly the same thing, just in a different key, right?
Yeah.
This one, you played in a way where I stopped looking at you as a teacher and I started to look at you as a person who's enjoying a beautiful piece of music. You turned me into the audience, and not too many people can do that. But in the first one, I was still a teacher. That's what I'm saying, that when you learned this one, you were a much stronger player. So you need to get the first one just as beautiful and comfortable. This, you've done it.
Yeah.
You learned all of the stuff, but you stopped in those arpeggiata movements 3 or 4 times. So you have 6 minutes. This is the goal. You start right here and you finish right here. Let's see if you can accomplish. This is a challenge. And that's what I need you to practice, like in Texas. You set yourself 6 minutes, get a brick, squish your teeth, not literally, and say, I'm gonna not stop. Go. Right. Yeah. Look, there were probably 5 or 6 places where typically you would stop and you didn't. And I appreciate that. But of course, look at your sad face. You want to be smiling at the end, right? Because if that would be the video, you probably would not send it to me because you would know exactly what I would say, right? Now let's look at this. No. Seriously. Identify, name the problem, what measure, what's the trouble, tricky rhythm, wrong note, tricky bowing, fancy finger problem. That's perfect. That's like my typical words put in a fancy language. You need to remember, and when you practice, you will find the spots. Eleanor used to put brackets over the spots that are difficult. First black ones, then red ones. And if the red ones don't work, then there are other options like nasty stickers and stuff. But that hardly ever happens. You also are a singer. It's a huge advantage over people who can't sing. Sing the parts with the problems and sing with the names of the fingers. Now let's try one more time. Let's identify one. I actually have a magnifying glass just like that guy has.
Really?
Yeah. Let me see if I can quickly find it. You start playing, identify the spot and fix it for me.
Oh, I don't see it. Okay. I don't get it. Do I just... I don't get
Do you know what identify means?
Right.
Find it. So find the spot that you need to fix.
How does he open my little finger? No, but like, how does he?
See, it's exactly the same. It's an old-fashioned magnifying glass
I
that
mean, like, oh,
I think my wife's father brought it from Europe
Mm-hmm.
long time ago. And this thing is a leftover of the strap that could be attached to, I guess, anywhere.
violin cases.
Right. I really don't use it, but I might now because it could be now the part of the display. You could say that Sherlock Holmes was here. Understand? Go. Yeah, and you did it. You played through, and I appreciate it, but you didn't play it clean, right? So let's find one problem and fix it now. Go. Yes, and you stop. Can you sing for me? It will be, of course, here, but I don't want you to squeak here. Right, now play the separate bows as that's A2. No, slow, so the fingers will remember what to do. Good. And now I want you to do the same thing. So you play and you don't miss a single note. Ah, you missed it. And if you miss, you have to play it 3 times in a row and then 5 times in a row. No, short staccato. Oh. Yeah, do it. And that's how you fix it. And then, absolutely just like that thing says, you step back a couple of bars and you run into it without making a boo-boo. Do you understand? Questions? No. Okay. When are you leaving?
Sunday?
Oh, you leave on 7. So tomorrow.
No, after Christmas.
Oh, Sunday after Christmas. Okay, I will write. I will still teach a couple of times. I will be teaching Monday morning, and then it's Sasha's birthday, and
Ooh.
then probably a couple of days off. But then I will come back because on 27th is my first rehearsal, so I will be back for it.
Did you use your blade to sharpen this?
Yeah. I didn't actually sharpen this. That was prepared to change strings on the violin. I needed that. Oh, that's cool. Wolves. Dances with wolves.
I used to have wolves a long time ago.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh God.